To start off, I'm going to run through the main aspects of the case. The arbitrator had to decide whether the dismissal of employees who tested positive for cannabis at the work was fair. Simple, right? Get a fire extinguisher. The employer's business involved dangerous machinery and vehicles, and the conveying of large logs that weighed anything up to 100 kilograms. Therefore, the workplace was extremely dangerous, and a lapse of judgment or an error could literally cause fatalities. Like many other companies, the workplace had safety regulations which were implemented, and it had also adopted a zero-tolerance stance on substance abuse. So let's blast back to the past in the middle of 2017. The employer conducted drug laboratory tests on all its employees, being urine samples. This later depicted that 4 of the employees had tested positive for cannabis use. This was in contravention of the employer's policy, and the employees were charged with being under the influence of intoxicating substances whilst on duty. In the disciplinary hearing, the employees admitted to having smoked cannabis. However, they maintained that it was done during personal time at home and not at the workplace. You're entitled to a life outside of the workplace, so do whatever blows your hair back. The employees were then dismissed and took the employer to the CCMA. The arbitrator acknowledged that the Constitutional Court had decriminalized the private use of cannabis. However, he also stated that it did not give the employees license to attend work under the influence of cannabis. Okay, but why, Fernando? No one got hurt on this instance. It's simple. Because cannabis impairs an employee's ability to work to the standard of care and skill required by the employer. That's it, right there. The arbitrator held that the employees had willfully disregarded the employer's safety rules by being under the influence of intoxicating substances. This was also after they were aware that the employer had a zero-tolerance policy based on the dangers and risk associated with the workplace, and the dismissal could have been imposed as a sanction. Accordingly, he found that the dismissal of the employees was in fact fair. So why am I telling you this? The consequences of an employee's private use of cannabis is entirely in his or her hands. Most people need to be aware, and I'm pretty sure that most people are already cognizant of the fact that cannabis may be detected in the bloodstream and in urine long after it has been consumed. So, can you be dismissed for testing positive for intoxicating substances? 100%. But an employer will always need to rely on more than just a positive drug test to show that an employee was under the influence. One has to evaluate the type of work being carried out, the risk involved in terms of personal or bodily harm to others. An employer must prove that an employee was under the influence. Even though the private use of cannabis has been decriminalized, an employer can still discipline and/or dismiss employees who test positive when reporting for duty under the influence of cannabis, where they pose a risk to themselves or others. Reputational damage to a brand due to injuries on duty, or even fatalities occurring on company property due to being under the influence of substances will never be allowed. Until next time, take care of yourself. Ciao for now.